Now, your Storm Track weather with Chief Meteorologist Matt Miller.
So often this time of year gives us some of the prettiest weather, and this week is really going to shape up nicely. If you weren't quite ready for the chill we had last week, you get repaid this week with the really nice mid-September weather. Clear and cool at night, maybe a little patchy fog in the morning, but like we saw this morning, it did not last long at all. Once we're back out of that in the areas that it does form, lots of sunshine out ahead of us, and a warm week with temperatures generally in the 70s and 80s all week long. Now, we looked at this over the weekend. We had all the smoke obviously out over the western part of the country, but eventually a lot of what happens out west does move eastward, and we saw one streak of some of that smoke come across the southern plains and other areas moving across some of the northern plains. That puts us kind of surrounded. We're still underneath this ridge of high pressure, and that's actually really boding well for us right now because it's keeping our sky bluer than it would be otherwise. There's still a little bit of haziness off in the distance. You can see from Emporia. Not quite the perfectly blue sky, but a little breeze. That's up at rooftop level. Breeze is a little stronger there in Lawrence, but generally about a 10-mile-per-hour wind. Sunny, a little bit hazy, but the bulk of the smoke is kind of going around us, which is good for right now, and we'll see how long that trend can hold this week. 80-degree temperature with an east-southeast wind at 9 miles per hour. 51 this morning, 80 the high, coming in a little bit cooler than average, but fairly close on target for the average high. We typically see low 80s for this time of year. Again, very comfortably warm weather. 83 at North Topeka, Lake Shawnee, 78. Great evening out at the lake. 80 degrees at Silver Lake. It is currently 78 on the east side of Manhattan. 80 west at the airport, and then 80 along I-70 at Junction City. We're currently 80 in Linden, 77 in Burlington, 77 at Hiawatha with a light easterly wind, generally about 5 to 12 miles per hour. The visibility not a problem now. We'll see if any patches of fog develop tonight. There should be just enough moisture. What you're looking at here isn't that it'll be all covered in thin fog. It's going to be patches of fog when we see this setup, and it is very short-lived. Becomes clear by mid to late morning at the very latest, and then we're clear all through the remainder of the day tomorrow. And that's because the air is really not that humid. Dew points are a little bit into the 50s and low 60s, just enough moisture, but that's dry to comfortable for the way it feels. There's just enough moisture for some morning fog, but very comfortable level of humidity. Sky remains clear, not only here, but also over a majority of the central plains. We do have a few thin high clouds coming across from West Texas up into Oklahoma and overhead at southeast Kansas. And then, of course, Hurricane Sally moving closer. Now, this is kind of a good news, bad news situation. Good news for New Orleans. It does not look like it's going to come straight in toward the New Orleans area. Bad news for Gulfport, Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi area. It has actually strengthened a little bit up to a Category 2 storm at 100-mile-per-hour winds. Temperatures tonight fall back into the 50s, then we're up into the lower 80s tomorrow, just a little bit warmer than what it was today. So 56 in the morning, a high back to about 83. Lots of sunshine. Any fog would be limited to the morning hours. And then after that, lots of sunshine, warm temperatures, 85 on Wednesday. Then a cold front pushes through. It doesn't drop us a lot. We settle back into the upper 70s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Up into the low 80s. Breezy conditions kick in over the course of the weekend and maybe into early next week as well. But if you do get a chance, always this time of year, check out that night sky. Beautiful view there just before dawn this morning from Brenda Culbertson up at the Prairie Band Reservation.
Yeah, after that cold and rainy week last week, we need it.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice, clear, and warm week.
Yeah, some good news there.